Hello, my name's Giselle and I'm here for my regular tips and techniques on how to improve your well-being during this difficult time. Well, today is World Book Day, and I thought I would talk a little bit about books and how they can help our well-being. So we know lots about breathing techniques. We know about walking out in nature is a wonderful thing, and getting exercise and making sure we get plenty of sleep. And we have connections with people and all these amazing things. But one thing that really helps with our well-being are books. And the earlier that we're able to start reading books, the greater the impact they have on our lives. So children who are offered books by when they're little, if they are carrying on reading and loving it up until about the age of 15, they will start to really get just a natural love of learning, which will stay with them for the rest of their lives. Another thing that reading offers is, for me, there's nothing I love more than just at the end of the day escaping into a most wonderful story. It's how I relax, it's how I just let go of the day, and it's how I still my own thoughts. Reading is almost like a meditation for me. Without having a good book on the go, I do find it quite difficult to get to sleep. I'm one of these people who always have a big pile of books by my bed, and I love it. But what people often don't realise is how reading affects how we can empathise and affects how we learn how to deal with situations. So one thing that reading does is it enables us to get a greater understanding about other people and their plights and their problems and their challenges. And it can give a great understanding, a deeper awareness of what it might be like to be a man if you're reading it when you're a female. When you're a teenager, getting a greater understanding about what it's like to be growing up. People getting an understanding of people who have a very, very challenging childhood. If it's written well, you can really believe that that's true. And if it's a non-fiction book, there's an even greater opportunity to go deeper into people's life stories, find out information about things we would never have understood before. So we get a greater understanding of empathy, and then with that empathy, it enables us to have a greater compassion towards humanity and the struggles in which we live. We might not have experienced what it's like to be a refugee running from a war-torn country and having your family killed, but to read that, to understand that, of course it never takes away from the actual experience that someone has had, but to get an understanding about someone's plight and what has maybe what they have experienced to become a refugee will give a greater understanding and compassion for those people as they arrive into our country. It also enables us to understand different generations and understand the different obstacles that people may have experienced as they grew. Another thing that reading does, which I find so interesting, is it gives our brain the opportunity to practice experiences and practice emotions. So as we get into the characters, as we get into the story and the experience that the characters are having, the brain starts to practice experiencing that. So say, for example, you read a book and there's a death in it, and it's very much centred around grief and all of those many layers that loss creates within ourselves. What is happening is the brain is really starting to explore and experience what that means. So it means that if you later on, and we will always experience grief of some sort in our lives, our brain has already had that preparation of how to deal with it, of how to respond to it, which in turn is going to build your resilience and your capability to be able to deal with certain situations. So in a sense, Reading creates neurogenesis. Neurogenesis is the structure of our brain. It's the build-up of the neurons and the neural pathways. So to be able to immerse yourself in a book that you enjoy, that you have chosen and you can get into, helps you to be able to deal with the challenges that life might throw at you at different stages within your life. To offer our children books, to offer them the ability to be able to explore through reading about things that they are passionate about, not what you think they should be reading, not being snooty about what they read, but encouraging them to explore reading, to find their own reading identity, is one of the greatest gifts you can offer your child. And as an adult, you know what? It's one of the greatest gifts you can offer yourself. There's nothing more wonderful than finding a book that you love, that you get the characterizations, and maybe that you can relate to. Because sometimes it's not until we read a book and we start to read something which relates to our own experience, do we start to realise that maybe what we've experienced isn't so alien and isn't so awful or isn't so bizarre. Because we are often comparing ourselves with others and thinking maybe people are doing a much better job than us. And sometimes we can't quite understand the thought processes that we are having. But if an author is able to enable you to experience that through their eyes, you might start to find a pathway out and getting a greater understanding of your own experience. So I hope you have a really lovely World Book Day, and just remember that a really great way for well-being is to find yourself a book or reading material that you are passionate about. And whether it's a football magazine or whether it's Jane Austen or whether it is an autobiography, do you know what? It doesn't actually matter. What really matters is you're able to relax, enjoy, because when you're feeling that, the stress has gone, those worrying thoughts have gone, those concerns about what's happening in the world has gone. Because in that moment of reading, you have enabled yourself to escape all of that and to travel into another world. And just imagining all those wonderful chemicals, happy, relaxed chemicals flowing through your body, which is enabling you to be able to deal more strongly with your own life. Thank you. Happy World Book Day.